case for China's property meltdown. Another step in Russia's energy war. Let's take a look at.
Say sabotage is responsible for leaks on the Nord Stream pipelines that are sending plumes of gas into the Baltic Sea. Scientists recorded undersea explosions around the lines connecting Russia and Germany. Though,
how does it make you feel that someone took that Dua Lipa photo? Wish it were you, huh? It's all good, man. I took one of your mom last night, so why? Why do you got to say that? Why are you trying to hurt me? What is this? Why can this relationship not be back and forth with mutual respect? Why does it have to be you trying to hurt my feelings, okay? We're in this together. Do you understand? You and I are in proximity as far away from Dua Lipa as we could be physically, okay? We have the same proximity to Dua Lipa, and you're over here slinging shit at me. Why are you doing that? Every time you sling the caca my direction, okay, you're slinging it back in your own face.
there are no claims of responsibility. Poland says the leaks marked an escalation in the war in Ukraine. A Kremlin spokesman said it would be stupid and absurd to blame Russia for the attack.
But European news agencies alongside the American State Department are like, well, call me a fucking idiot then.
Fuel spilling out into the Baltic Sea.
I think this is a great story because it just shows, like, no matter what happens at this point, like, they'll just be like, nah, Russia did it to themselves. Like, someone could fucking drop a nuke in the middle of Moscow and they'd be like, Russia actually nuked itself to gain sympathy from the rest of the world. When, like, no one is going to afford them any sympathy. Why the fuck would anyone be sympathetic to them? They're psychotic. The Russian government is insane. The actions are unacceptable.
The EU's top diplomat, Joseph Borrell, says...
You and Tucker Carlson finally agree on something? Yeah, I mean, Tucker Carlson's a fucking absolute psychotic, somewhat pro-Russia weirdo, okay? There's a difference between what I'm saying and what Tucker Carlson is saying. What I'm saying is, this makes no fucking sense. We have to look at who stands to gain the most from this and who stands to lose the most.
The likely act of sabotage. The two Nord Stream pipelines link Russia and Germany. 3 red dots mark the places where the leaks were detected. Even though the pipelines are not currently delivering Russian gas to Europe, they're still full of fuel. Up to 100 million cubic meters of gas is spewing from the pipelines every hour. With no way of closing them, the leaks could continue until the pipes are empty. European leaders say they're fairly certain about the cause of the leaks.
We have Swedish intelligence, but we also have received information from Denmark. And based on this, we concluded that this is probably a deliberate act. It is probably a case of sabotage.
At least, like, everyone's in agreement that it's sabotage. Like, we're not even at the stage where we're looking at this and going, like, maybe it was natural. You know what I mean? Maybe it was naturally occurring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just happened to happen on both 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Det är alltså troligen en fråga om ett sabotage.
The Kremlin has also suggested foul play.
No option can be ruled out right now. It's clear that there is damage to the pipeline. We can't exclude any version of events regarding the reason for this before the results of the official investigation.
The EU has vowed retaliation for any attack on the energy network.
The funniest part is, so let's assume it was America. What happens when other countries prove it? Exactly. That's the funniest part. People coming out and being like, when we figure out who fucking did this, we're going to be so mad at you. Yeah, right, dude? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to be mad? Let's say you find out it's America. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're not going to do shit. What are you going to do? Literally nothing, okay? Even if you had complete, conclusive evidence, like you're like, well, we found the remnants of the unmanned drone that hit both of the fucking pipelines, and it says, made in the USA, you are my best friend. You are the receiver. You are the legend. Okay, you are the defender. You are the legend on the fucking unmanned drone. Okay, the water drone. What happens? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna fucking abolish NATO? You're gonna disband NATO? You are the peacekeeper. Sorry, I fucked it up. The most you would do is like pull a France and be like, oh, we are so mad. We do not want to put our military in the NATO any longer. And then, you know, suck it up again. They will write a strongly worded press release. Yeah, exactly. If it says made in the USA, then it's a Chinese operation. We don't make shit. No, the only thing we do make is weapons, brother. That's why when you have like random fucking riots in other countries and the cops are using like less than lethal weapons and shit, and some of those explosives blow up, but you have remnants of it and you look at it and it's like made in fucking Pennsylvania. You're like, how the fuck did this happen? How did this get there? Because America makes the weapons. That's the one thing we do make. What about the idea it's Ukrainian militants unaccountable to no one? The idea that like Ukrainian militants are unaccountable to no one is a really funny one. I'll be honest with you. Like, what do you mean? Ukraine in like 2014 had like an 8-person military, okay? Everything that has happened with respect to the current Ukrainian defense force, all the way from the weapons, all the way to the training, all the way to like them being able to use like a fucking drone to drop one of Russia's carriers. Every single part of that is American. Okay, every single part of that, the training, everything else is American. The guns are American. The training is American. There's no world in which like the Ukrainian military, the Ukrainian government is doing this on their own. Okay, not. It's NATO, and NATO is America.
Work. The leaks are expected to last for at least another week, and only then can investigations begin.
Earlier, we spoke to Tor Ivar Strømmen from the Royal Norwegian Naval Academy. I asked him if there was any evidence of sabotage on the Nord Stream pipelines.
First of all, the distance between the leaks and that there were explosions near the pipelines and so on, both indicates that this is not a accident. This is something which was planned and conducted by humans in order to destruct those pipelines.
Now, this happened in the Baltic Sea, not far from the island of Bornholm. There's quite a bit of traffic out there, maritime traffic. How difficult would it be to carry out such attacks in those locations without being detected?
Actually, fairly easy, as those explosives could have been placed there weeks and months or even years beforehand. And a ship could just...
I can't take anyone with this beard shape seriously. He could literally be saying whatever right now, and I'd be like, he could be like, we need to restore a global communist order, and I'd be like, no shot. Nope. Brother, you woke up for like, you woke up every morning for like 2-3 years. You grew that shit out. You cut the middle part so it sticks out like this. And then you cut the sides off too. That's crazy.
Stopped over the position maybe 2 months ago. Sent out a remote operated vehicle, a mini submarine or something, placed those explosives and left. So,
you think there's a possibility that America did it though? Yeah, of course there is. What? Yes. There is a possibility that America or American involved people, America adjacent groups did this. Yes. There is a likelihood that I would say is even higher than the likelihood that Russia did it to itself.
So later they could detonate those.
You are actually brain dead, little bro. No, you're right, Jim Halpert 223. I'm brain dead.
Explosives by radio signal or by timing or any other means. So it's fairly easy to conduct such an operation.
Is there any indication as to who might be behind the attacks, if that's what they were.
You say Russia.
I would not say indications, but it's highly likely, in my opinion, that it's Russia, basically for two reasons. One is...
Yeah. Everybody in unison, collectively, is like, it's most likely Russia. Insane to me.
That this is a way to make sure that they cannot be pressured in any way to deliver gas to Nord Stream to Germany again. They have obligations, legal obligations to provide gas. They have now stopped providing that gas to first.
So people in the chat said this, but I don't understand. And I'm saying this genuinely. Why would they do this? Like, why? Gas and the energy is the only thing that's stopping everyone from fucking long dicking them, which, you know, people are still long dicking them regardless. Why would they blow up their delivery mechanism? Now, the delivery mechanism that they're not even using at the moment, but one that they could use and one that they've built so they can use. It doesn't make sense. This and the fact that people are like, do not let Russians escaping forced conscription into your countries are the two things that I cannot comprehend why the Western world, which is supposedly anti-Russia, is unironically advocating for. Those are two things I cannot comprehend. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why? It's literally just like, it doesn't make sense. You have no idea how much insane stuff they're doing without any reason. They blow up residential buildings, Iranian drones every day in my city. No one has any fucking idea why law. No, that part of it is brutal for the sake of brutality, so they can fucking do terrorism. But that is a very specific purpose. Terrorism has a very specific goal. Enact terror upon a broader population that you can easily or try to easily suppress. Okay? That's what that is. That is brutal. That's horrific. Just like fucking, I don't know, executing people that you've like handcuffed and shit. Horrific, brutal terrorism, but it's done for a specific purpose. And that is to straight up put the fear into the enemy's hearts. Strike at their hearts, strike and show that like even civilian casualties are something that they're totally on board with. Hasan is focusing on the effects of the U.S. versus others who are talking about agency. This is leading to misunderstandings. If Russia can irrationally attack Ukraine, why can't they irrationally blow up their own pipeline? Because everyone, including people who disagreed with my original take, which was wrong, by the way, obviously, as we all know, we're living in the future now, understood that like there is still geopolitical interest within Russia to overtake Ukraine or dominate Ukraine or to maintain control over Ukraine. There is no real reason for blowing up their own pipeline. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It just doesn't make any sense to me, okay? It does not make any sense to me whatsoever. But maybe they did it. Maybe they blew up their own pipeline. Now, the reason why it doesn't make sense to me is because it is their pressure valve. Like, you have to look at who stands to gain from this. And Russia's gains would be either marginal, non-existent, or they could have done similar, like, pressure points. They could have pushed for similar pressure points by blowing up Nord Stream 1, for example. If they blew up just one and not two, all of a sudden you're like, well, we got to use Nord Stream 2 to deliver energy. You know what I mean? Why'd they blow both of them up? That makes no sense. The fact that they blew both of them up makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Anyway, so he's saying they're now no longer going to deliver gas, but that is their pressure point. That is the leverage that they have over the European Union, the European countries. So let's hear what the second one is, okay?
Saying that they have also delay in maintenance of some turbines and pump systems. Then from August on, with reference to maintenance of the gas lines, and now they have been destroyed, so they cannot deliver. which makes them look innocent, but still they are behind it. So they don't say that they are using energy as a weapon, but they are really doing it. And everyone knows. But as long as they don't say it.
Okay, but they're already fucked up. They're already evil. You know what I mean? Like, they're already bad. Everyone knows they're bad. No one in Germany's like, maybe, hold on, maybe Russia is good. No. Everybody knows they're bad. They just still have to get energy from them. So Russia could literally turn around and be like, we're not going to fulfill our contracts. We're not going to give you the energy, motherfucker. We're going to turn off the pipelines regardless. Instead of blowing it up, they could be like, we're not going to fucking give you the gas. Oh, no. Wait, what did I say? They probably rather want to sell the gas to the Taliban? Wait, what? No. Do they even have the tech to pull this shit off? Yes. No, that's not. Yeah, dude, it's a fucking unmanned a drone. Like, it's like an unmanned drone missile thing that you can just fucking torpedo. That part is not that surprise. Like, that is definitely something that Russia could do to itself. I'm not talking about whether they have the capability to do so. I'm talking about whether or not they have anything to gain from this. EU far right loves Russia. Same goes for Germany. Okay, but that's the far right, man. That's bananas. We're not talking about that. We're talking about governments. Governments that are beholden to Russia currently in Europe because they're getting their energy from Russia. You get it? Like, the reality is that no matter what happens, they still hold the power. So they can do the pressure. They can do the pressure without actually blowing shit up. Their own shit. But they literally signed a deal with the Taliban. News are like 24 hours old or so max. Doesn't make sense for Russia, but it can make sense for Putin if there's internal power struggle, division. Okay, at that point, we are doing Joker mode foreign policy. And once again, not looking at other actors and what they stand to benefit. America doesn't want Nord Stream to be there. Okay? They don't want it. They've openly stated it. They want to be able to sell LPG liquid. The liquefied like version of the natural gas, whatever, the ones that they send over with ships. Germany is already LNG, sorry, not LPG. Germany is already setting up facilities for it. They're supposed to be in operation by next year. That is a direct competitor to Russia sending in energy. So, you know, there are clear motivations here. Liquefied natural gas, LNG. is else. Or it could be internal even. It's a controversial pipeline for anyone who doesn't like the dependence on Russia, cough USA. They could literally use it to cause issues between the U.S. and EU. As U.S. backs Ukraine and all the Russians go to EU areas, it will cause more issues benefiting Russia. So Russia and U.S. both have reasons to sabotage the pipeline. Russia's reasons for sabotaging its own pipeline would still end up with Russia fucking up their own multi-billion-dollar pipeline, their operation that took many, many years to build. The United States has nothing to lose and everything to gain from blowing up the pipelines. Russia has everything to lose and very, very little to gain if you try to fucking figure out a way in which, you know, there was no other way out of this. Like, there's no other way to focus on internal conflict in Putin's world than to blow up his own pipeline. Like, that's fucking nuts. Especially when, like, their leverage is the existence of those very same pipelines, which is one other delivery mechanism.
It disguises what they are actually doing.
And no, it's not possible that it wasn't sabotage, but it was a couple of Russian workers who forgot to tighten some bolts, bro. That's not how that works. There are ways to monitor the seismic activity, which they did, and it's consistent with like explosions. So
when they have also the other part of it is the as long as they don't say it, it disguises what they are actually doing. So when they have also the other part of it is the great power competition and the great strategic.
False flags are when you blow up a fucking when you blow up a civilian building and like pin it on the Chechens, okay, the Chechens. False flags are not when you fucking destroy your potentially trillion-dollar leverage, which is like one of the only things that is keeping you afloat, just as a YOLO move. Just because they're like, oh man, we just couldn't deliver the gas to you guys. Especially when they weren't even using those pipelines to begin with as much. Not at Nord Stream 2, not at all.
Point of it, as Russia only have two really powerful tools to influence its negotiation position versus the West, versus Ukraine, and so on. Those are military power, which have failed to a large degree, and its energy.
Sorry.
And by demonstrating this,
Sorry, just we don't have that much time. I just wanted to ask you how investigators will go about determining what happened to those pipelines, and how long do you think that might take?
It's very hard to say. Obviously, they will do an investigation much like the police are doing when we have a terror bomb or something on shore. They will try to find remnants of explosives or any other sign of what's the...
But he's desperately trying to gain support for the war. The false flag scenario makes perfect sense here. Bro, why wouldn't he fucking blow up an apartment building in the middle of Moscow and say the Ukrainians did it then? Hello? There's like 100 different So people like you end up defending it because that would be too insane, lol? Okay, yeah, he's cunning. So cunning that he... Here's what's really fucking annoying about having this conversation with people, okay? Here's what's really fucking annoying about having this conversation with people. People are literally saying Vladimir Putin is a 5D chessman, okay? Who's somehow thinking about me and what I have to say about this, but also so fucking stupid that he blew up his own multi-billion-dollar operation. Like, it's both at the same time. He's both the most cunning man and also the most stupid man. Both at the same time. He's like thinking 7 steps ahead always. I mean, there's probably an easier answer for this. You know what I mean?
Have gone down there and conduct a full investigation. The problem now is to actually get access, considering that it's still a very dangerous operational area with all that gas coming out. It's the gas is dangerous.
Meanwhile, like, that pipeline isn't that important anymore. A lot of countries are cutting as much down on it as they can. Brother, that pipeline was going to look real fucking sweet when winter came around, though, okay? And energy prices were going bananas. Okay? That's the point. That legit sounds like those people who think they're being gangstalked when they talk about Putin. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Your takes are so insane. How could the USA have done it? It's most probably Russia who did it themselves. Like, you run the ads and blame the chatters for not subscribing? Fuck you. Like, Russia has done a lot of fucked up shit, okay? Russia has done a lot of fucked up shit, including invading Ukraine to begin with. That's both bananas and insane and fucked up at the same time. Okay? Putin has, time and time again, overextended throughout this entire operation. And then, when he got fucking owned, turned around and been like, oh man, we were just doing this on purpose. We actually didn't want to take Kyiv. We were just bombing the Western Front for no reason. We just always wanted the Eastern Front. We just wanted to occupy further territories in the East. Like, we just did it on purpose. It was a tactical retreat. It's not a war. It's not a war. It's not a war. All of those things are true and valid, okay? Those things are fucking insane. But overextending and getting your shit pushed in by an enemy that is better geared to fight back against you as a consequence of, like, NATO involvement is entirely different than, like, destroying your own singular multi-billion-dollar form of leverage right before the winter. Like, right before the winter as well. Like, right before European countries were going to be like, oh, maybe we do want to use Nord Stream a little bit. Like, maybe just a little bit of gas. You know what I mean? Because prices are way too high. And when people say, again, couldn't it be a Ukraine 200 IQ move? The Ukraine 200 IQ move would still be America. That's what I'm saying. When I say America, I mean like NATO, okay? Chilltown Rios, thank you for the 10 gifted subs, by the way. Thank you for the 10 gifted at the top of the hour, allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads. I got you baited earlier. Got to run it. Here's the 1 minute ad break now.
For humans, ships can actually sink if they get gas in the water mass beneath it. And there too, there is a large...
You're talking like Putin is the only Russian choice. It's possible an internal faction did it to destroy any leverage Putin has to force more pressure on him to give in. Okay, you just made that up. 1. 2, you're implying that there's an internal faction that is powerful enough to conduct an operation like this without Vladimir Putin coming in and like executing them. And that is still the exact opposite, because that would still be an America aligned or against Putin and therefore a NATO backed or on the side of NATO institution. Whether they are literally directly communicating with NATO, that faction would still be fundamentally or functionally, not fundamentally, functionally on the side of NATO. So again, even in an effort to try to justify it without saying Putin did it, okay, and coming up with a different conspiracy theory, you're still saying what I'm saying, which is that it makes no sense that Russia would do it on its own to itself. Putin is definitely cranking up the pressure on Europe on the one thing they can via leverage energy costs before winter. It's why he purposely struck power plants in Ukraine and now potentially another pipeline in Crimea. Yes, but those make sense. Okay? This isn't a pipeline that's going through Ukraine either, by the way. This is a pipeline that they fucking built with European partners. That's my point. That's like, why wouldn't they just cut off the other ones, dude? What the fuck? The ones that Ukraine is even holding on to on purpose. Ukraine has made an argument time and time again as to why they want to maintain the Russian pipelines, because like it's literally it's protection for them almost.
Danger of an explosion. So first they have to isolate the incident, stop the gas leak, and then they can go down and start investigating in proper.
Okay, a dangerous, complex situation. Commander Tor Ivar Stormen of the Royal Norwegian Naval Academy, thanks for talking with us.
It's not about using a little bit. Germany still agreed to use Nord Stream 1 and did pay it full, but Russia constantly reduced the gas till they entirely stopped it and used BS tech arguments that they were disproven by the company who made the machines. But I agree that they would have more from this if it were just Nord Stream 1 and not also 2, but let's not fully drop the idea that it might be Russia. Yeah, I mean, look, if they blew up one, they could just be like, well, guess we got to use two now. You know what I mean? They blew up both. Why the fuck would they build it? I don't know. It doesn't fit in my brain. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I don't like Vladimir Putin, but I'm too stupid, I guess, to understand the five head expert chess players play moves from Vladimir Putin.
No problem.
My colleague Chapana Chimbelu has been following this.
Why isn't eco-terrorism a more realistic theory? Because eco-terrorists don't have unmanned drone capabilities, man. What? Why do you think everyone is saying this is definitely a state actor? Eco-terrorism is when your hippie fucking grandma runs into a nuclear facility and glues her fucking hand to the door. Eco-terrorism isn't when an unmanned drone strikes a fucking pipeline in the bottom of the ocean. What the fuck? It's like water protectors are considered eco-terrorists. You think this is Cowboy Bebop, motherfucker? What do you mean? I said eco-terrorism.
Story. Here's his assessment of what this alleged attack means for energy markets.
The leaks in the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines have added more uncertainty to the European energy market. There was a bump in prices despite the fact that Nord Stream 1 was shut down indefinitely earlier this month. Now, given the amount of damage to the pipelines, analysts are saying they are less likely to be operational at any point this year. Some also think that Moscow benefits from the additional chaos in the energy market. And if this was indeed sabotage, as some European governments suspect, it highlights the risk to other critical energy infrastructure in Europe. In particular, the Baltic Pipe, a new pipeline that will deliver natural gas from Norway to Poland from October 1st. This incident shows just how fragile and volatile the situation is, and many are asking whether Russia will continue delivering gas to Europe via Ukraine.
He's trying to cut EU's dick off and cause panic before they can scale down imports by getting other